Ancient civilizations had an undeniable obsession with documentation, whether through paper, crystal matrices, or some other medium that suited their particular biology. It seemed like every species that had ever risen to prominence felt the overwhelming need to leave behind records of their inevitable downfall. Xylax would know. He'd spent the last 3 cycles cataloging the ruins of exactly 17 extinct species, and every single one had left behind the galactic equivalent of a sticky note saying, "Do not mess with Earth." The latest discovery came from the ruins of the once mighty Xixian Empire, proud rulers of 3 entire spiral arms, now reduced to dust, and an unsettling number of well-preserved warning messages. Xylax's tentacles twitched in resignation as his sensor array finished decoding yet another crystalline data matrix, this one unearthed beneath what had once been the central archive of the Xixian capital world. He sighed internally and opened a direct link to his research partner, Nas Beta 9, a quantum consciousness housed in a device that bore an uncanny resemblance to a decorative soap dispenser. "Let me guess," Xylax transmitted dryly. "They're going to mention Earth, aren't they?" As if in direct response, the crystal pulsed with ancient light, activating a holographic projection that had waited millions of years to be rediscovered. A long-dead Xixian archivist materialized, their crystalline form eerily pristine within the recording. Xylax activated his standard documentation procedure, already knowing exactly what was about to happen. "To any who find this message," the hologram, intoned, its voice carrying that now familiar blend of sheer terror and meticulous bureaucratic precision. "We leave this warning regarding Sector 47X23, specifically the 3rd planet of the Yellow Star system. They call it Earth. They guard something worse. Do not investigate. Do not approach. We learned too late. At least we had time to file the proper forms before our extinction." Xylax's appendages sagged in exasperation. "That makes 18, he noted in his log. 18 advanced civilizations. 18 warnings about Earth. 18 mentions of something worse. And 18 impeccably filed extinction reports." 19, actually, Nas Beta 9 interjected, their metallic casing gleaming unhelpfully in the low light. "You forgot the Proto-Zeta Collective. Though, to be fair, they left their warning in interphasic interpretive dance." "Oh, right. The dancers." Xylax shuddered at the memory. It was hard to forget those fossilized poses. He added another entry to his growing database of Earth-related warnings before pausing in thought. "You know what's really bothering me? Every one of these civilizations had time to leave a warning. Who stops in the middle of their extinction to file paperwork?" As if responding to his rhetorical question, the crystal matrix flickered again. The Xixian archivist reappeared, their recorded image slightly degraded but still unnervingly clear. "P.S. For proper filing purposes, please categorize this warning under apocalyptic threats, subsection Gamma, Form X789BB. We would have filed it under Omega-level existential dangers, but the paperwork for that was simply too time-consuming, given our imminent demise." Xylax stared at the hologram for a long moment before making a personal log entry. "Found another warning about Earth, but more importantly, who designed these filing systems? And why does every dead civilization use the same one?" The Galactic Historical Society's archives were becoming an increasingly amusing place to browse, at least if one had a particularly dark sense of humor about apocalyptic bureaucracy. The pattern was so comedically predictable, it was as if the universe itself were running a particularly dark sitcom. Take the Meridian Collective, for instance. Their first report read, "Discovered promising solar system for colonization." Their second, "Native species detected. Seems primitive but oddly concerning." Their final report, filed precisely 2 standard cycles later, "Stay away from Earth. They guard." The transmission cut off. The only thing more consistent than their mounting panic was their dedication to proper timestamp formatting, the quantum. Harmonists had taken a more artistic approach to their warning. They encoded their message into the atomic structure of their homeworld's moon, which now orbited their empty planet like a giant crystalline billboard of doom. Humans appear simple. This is a trap. What lies beneath is worse. We should have known when we saw how they treated their own planet. No species survives that level of pollution unless something else is keeping them alive. Perhaps the most intriguing account came from the Silicon Dreams, a machine civilization that had attempted to hack Earth's primitive digital networks. Their entire collective consciousness had shut down exactly 3.7 micros after breaching human cybersecurity. They managed one final backup transmission. Their internet cannot be that bad by accident. It must be intentional. No species would willingly create such digital chaos unless they were hiding something far worse beneath it. The current galactic. Community's reaction to these discoveries ranged from academic fascination to outright denial. The Void University's Xenoarchaeology department had even started a betting pool on what exactly humans were guarding. Current odds favored primordial chaos entity at 3-1, with Universe's recycling bin coming in a close second at 4-1. Really Bad TikTok Videos was a controversial dark horse at 10-1. The hive mind conclave had taken to observing Earth through long-range telescopes, meticulously documenting human behavior with increasingly confused reports. Species appears to simultaneously advance technology and use it primarily for creating and sharing pictures of small, furry animals. Cannot determine if this is a sophisticated smokescreen or a genuine cultural phenomenon. Even the notoriously reclusive gas giant Consciousness Collective had emerged from their cloudy isolation to comment, "We have observed humans launching objects into space seemingly at random, often for reasons they assert are because we can. No species expends resources so inefficiently unless they have access to something that makes such waste irrelevant." Most disturbing of all was the pattern of human advancement. Every civilization that had left a warning had been significantly more advanced than humanity at the time of their extinction. Yet Earth's defenders had prevailed each time, despite their apparently primitive technology. The Galactic Science Academy's latest thesis
The findings
fundamentally violated the known laws of
unless
physics.
humans had access
A particularly
to
well-preserved warning from the Crystal
scientific
Sphere
principles.
Syndicate stated simply, "We thought their physics was wrong. Turns out our physics was wrong. Their physics is worse. Do not attempt to correct their mathematical errors. The errors are not errors, they are bars on a cage." The mounting evidence led to a new galactic pastime, Earth watching. Various species took to monitoring human broadcasts, desperately trying to decode what kind of threat could be so terrible that it necessitated such an elaborate planetary facade to contain it. Humanity's continued obsession with apocalyptic entertainment was viewed with particular suspicion. As one hive mind analyst noted, only a species intimately familiar with world-ending threats would spend so much time imagining new ones. The Galactic Research Council finally did what bureaucracies do best, formed a committee. After reviewing the overwhelming evidence surrounding Earth, they assembled what they considered their finest team of experts, though finest was perhaps a generous term. Leading the expedition was Dr. Zeal, a gelatinous mass of cognitive fluid, whose primary qualification was being impossible to kill through conventional means. Their research experience included surviving 3 supernovas and 1 particularly spicy galactic cuisine festival. "I volunteer because I'm essentially immortal," they bubbled enthusiastically during the first meeting. "Also, my species doesn't believe in filing posthumous reports." The team's technology expert, Quantum Intelligence Unit 359B, who insisted on being called Bob, was chosen primarily because they couldn't be hacked, mainly due to running on what they proudly described as artisanal code. It was so badly written that no other intelligence could make sense of it. "My security through obscurity makes me perfect for this mission," Bob announced from their vintage toaster housing. Also, I'm the only one who actually watched all of Earth's cat videos. For research. Rounding out the core team was Mex Photon, a being of pure light specializing in observation and documentation. They had gained notoriety for their ability to record events from multiple dimensional perspectives simultaneously, though their reports were known to include an excessive number of lens flares. "I promise to capture everything in stunning 45D, they beamed. "Though I should warn you, I do get occasional lens fog in high-anxiety situations." The planning sessions were a masterclass in organized chaos. Dr. Zeal kept accidentally absorbing vital equipment whenever they got excited. Bob insisted on running all mission protocols through their proprietary operating system, which somehow included a version of Doom. Mex Photon's preliminary mission footage looked like a cross between a documentary and an avant-garde art house film. "Let's review the mission parameters," Dr. Zeal gurgled during the final briefing. "We approach Earth. We observe the humans. We figure out what they're guarding. And most importantly, we try not to join the impressive list of extinct civilizations. I've analyzed all possible approach vectors," Bob chimed in, their toaster housing gleaming with misplaced confidence. Bob's toaster housing popped up a burnt mission diagram. "I suggest we avoid what humans call the internet at all costs. The memes alone could overwhelm our shields." Mex Photon flickered thoughtfully. "I've been studying their entertainment, broadcasts. Did you know they spend an inordinate amount of time making shows about their own extinction? Either they're incredibly paranoid or they're trying to tell us something." The final mission preparations involved loading their ship with what they considered essential supplies: a universal translator, quantum computation arrays, and what Bob insisted was Earth's entire collection of cute animal pictures. For diplomatic purposes. "Remember," Dr. Zeal burbled as they finalized preparations, "if we don't survive this, at least try to file the paperwork before we go extinct. It's tradition at this point." The approach to Earth's solar system was suspiciously uneventful, which made everyone on the research vessel extremely nervous. Dr. Zeal had expanded to 3 times their normal size from anxiety, forcing Bob to relocate to a higher shelf. "This is wrong," Mex Photon observed, their light dimming. "According to the warnings, we should have encountered at least 2 reality-bending phenomena by now. The quantum harmonists reported space itself trying to turn them inside out." "Maybe we came on a good day," Bob suggested from their elevated position. "Even eldritch horrors must take vacations." Their first real sign that something was off came when they passed Jupiter. The gas giant winked at them. Not metaphorically, the great red spot literally closed and reopened in a deliberate motion. Bob's toaster housing produced spontaneous toast in surprise. Did anyone else see that?" Dr. Zeal bubbled nervously, their gelatinous form rippling with concern. "Because I'm pretty sure gas giants aren't supposed to do that." "I got it on camera," Mex Photon exclaimed, "though somehow it just looks like a lens smudge in the recording. Every single wavelength shows the same smudge. That's technically impossible." As they approached Mars, their sensors detected something odd. Earth's internet seemed to be leaking into space. Random cat videos, social media posts, and something called medieval monk memes began appearing in their ship systems. Bob started, humming "Never Gonna Give You Up" uncontrollably. "We're being rickrolled by the void of space," Bob announced, both horrified and impressed. "Their memes are achieving quantum entanglement. This shouldn't be possible with their level of technology." The situation only grew stranger as they entered Earth's orbit. Their sophisticated cloaking technology was working perfectly, too perfectly. Earth's primitive detection system shouldn't have been able to track them, yet somehow, every human conspiracy website was already discussing their exact location and posting surprisingly accurate photos, albeit with unnecessary red circles and arrows. "They're streaming us on something called Twitch," Bob reported. "We've got 50,000 viewers, and someone just donated bits to watch me make toast." The first official human contact had begun. The first official human contact came through an unexpected channel, their ship's coffee maker. It started printing out a message in coffee stains. "Welcome to Earth. We've been expecting you. Please maintain your current orbit and enjoy this complimentary Wi-Fi password. Warning: terms and conditions may apply to your continued existence." Dr. Zeal absorbed the coffee-stained message for analysis. Their response is suspiciously organized for a species that supposedly hasn't achieved unified global governance. "Look, at these terms and conditions," MX Photon pointed out, their light refracting through the coffee drops. Section 7B specifically mentions reality anchoring protocols and temporal stability agreements. Since when do primitives worry about timeline integrity? That's when they noticed it, a subtle wrongness in the space around Earth. It wasn't anything their instruments could detect, but rather an overwhelming sense that reality itself was trying very hard to behave normally, like a child whistling innocently next to a broken vase. "Does anyone else feel like we're looking at a very convincing painting of a planet rather than an actual planet?" Bob asked, their casing rattling slightly. "Like everything checks out on sensors, but it feels like we're seeing what we're supposed to see." Dr. Zeal's gelatinous mass rippled with unease, as if something is making sure we observe exactly what we expect to observe. Their contemplation was interrupted by another coffee maker message. "Your free trial of Basic Reality, TM, has expired. Would you like to subscribe to Premium Reality TM? Warning: unsubscribed users may experience existence errors." X Photon's light flickered anxiously. "Is it too late to find our preliminary extinction paperwork?" The truth about Earth arrived in the form of a meeting invitation, delivered through their ship's microwave. The coordinates pointed to a Waffle House in Nebraska, because of— "Course they did. A Waffle House?" Dr. Zeal burbled incredulously. "Isn't that a bit mundane for a species guarding cosmic horrors?" "Actually," Bob chimed in, their toaster housing glowing with excitement. "According to my research, Waffle House is one of humanity's most reliable constants. They remain open during natural disasters, supernatural disasters, and that one time, reality hiccuped in Florida." The human representative waiting for them turned out to be a middle-aged man in a badly fitting suit, reading a newspaper and drinking coffee that somehow never emptied. The name tag on his suit simply read, "Management." "Ah, right on time," he said, folding his newspaper to reveal yesterday's date. "Sorry about all the cloak and dagger stuff, but you try maintaining universal stability while dealing with corporate oversight." MX Photon attempted to record the meeting, but their footage showed nothing but static and what appeared to be recipe instructions for perfect hash browns. The human noticed and smiled apologetically. "Reality gets a bit fuzzy in here," he explained. "Side effect of the containment protocols. You see, Earth isn't guarding something. Earth is the guardrail." He pulled out what looked like an ordinary tablet, but the screen showed coordinates in dimensions that shouldn't exist. "Here's the thing about the universe. It's not the only one. There's a whole multiverse out there, infinite realities, all stacked up like pancakes. And like pancakes, sometimes they try to merge in ways they really shouldn't." Dr. Zeal absorbed this information, literally and figuratively. "So Earth is basically the cosmic equivalent of a loading screen?" Management nodded. "We're the buffer zone between realities. All those physics-defying phenomena your scientists keep discovering. That's just reality leaking through the cracks. Humans aren't magical or special. We're just really good at normalizing chaos." "That actually explains a lot," Bob processed. "The internet, realities, pressure release valve. We had to give the chaos somewhere to go," management confirmed. "So we created a system so nonsensical that it could absorb quantum anomalies without anyone noticing. Every meme is actually a tiny universe trying to express itself." "But why humans?" MX Photon flickered. "Why not a more advanced species?" Management laughed, the sound somehow occurring both before and after he made it. "Advanced species try to make sense of things. Humans? We see something impossible and go neat before posting it online with a funny caption. We're the only species stubborn enough to look at fundamental breaks in reality and decide they're probably fine as long as we can get Wi-Fi. He pulled out a stack of papers that seemed to cast shadows in directions. Shadows shouldn't. Go. Every civilization that discovered us tried to fix things. They saw the cracks in reality and thought they could repair them. Everything would start making perfect sense. But you can't fix something that's working as intended. The universe would achieve absolute order. The chaos isn't a bug, to exist. It's a feature. That's what happened to all those other civilizations. Warnings, Dr. Zeal began. They achieved perfect understanding and realized, why, that's the worst possible thing. He straightened his tie, which briefly turned into a Klein bottle. So, what's it going to be? File your report? Try to fix things and join our wall of extinct civilizations? Or would you like to subscribe to our premium reality package? It comes with unlimited data and only minor existential crises. Dr. Zeal, Bob, and Mex Photon sat in the Waffle House, contemplating their options, while a nearby jukebox played every song simultaneously in perfect harmony, a phenomenon that should have been horrifying but somehow worked. Dr. Zeal bubbled, their gelatinous form resembling a troubled lava lamp. Let me get this straight. The entire universe runs on controlled chaos. Earth is the firewall, and humans are the system administrators who don't actually understand how the system works, but somehow keep it running anyway. That's an oversimplification, management said, but essentially correct. Think of it less as administration and more like aggressive improvisation on a universal scale. Bob's toaster housing popped out a piece of toast with fractal patterns, burnt into it. What happens if we tell everyone? Surely the galactic community deserves to know. Management sighed. Somewhere in the distance, probability briefly wavered. Remember the Meridian Collective? They tried to optimize reality, create a perfect mathematical model to eliminate chaos. Want to know what happened? They became so perfectly ordered that they transformed into a geometric proof of their own non-existence, Mex Photon guessed. Bingo. The light being flickered. Is that why humans actively resist certain technological advancements? You're deliberately maintaining a specific level of chaos? Give the light bulb a prize, management beamed. Every time humanity gets too close to figuring it all out, we introduce new variables. Why do you think we invented cryptocurrency? Nothing destabilizes rational systems quite like convincing people to invest real money in imaginary money. A waitress appeared, walking in a way that suggested she was both arriving and leaving. Her name tag read, "Also Management." The coffee here exists in a quantum superposition of fresh and 3 days old, she said, refilling cups that hadn't been emptied. It's part of our reality anchoring system. The more people argue about whether it's good or terrible, the more stable local space-time becomes. Dr. Zeal absorbed a drop of the quantum coffee and immediately understood 17 new colors. But what about progress, development, evolution? Oh, that still happens, management assured them. We just make sure it happens chaotically enough to keep the universe from noticing. Preventing reality from achieving perfect order, did you think that was an accident? Humanity developed spaceflight before fully understanding why we sleep. We built quantum computers, yet still struggle to predict the weather with any real accuracy. That wasn't a coincidence. That was the nature of the universe itself, resisting absolute order. Bob processed this revelation through their artisanal code, contemplating the implications. The worst thing about humanity wasn't its chaotic tendencies. It wasn't even order itself. No, the true terror was the inevitable heat death of the universe, the finality of perfect entropy distribution. Both branches of management smiled simultaneously, as if they had expected this realization all along. Now you're getting it. A perfectly ordered universe wasn't just boring, it was lifeless. Chaos wasn't a problem to be solved. It was the only thing keeping existence from grinding to an eternal frozen halt. Chaos wasn't just resistance, it was survival. The team exchanged glances. The decision, unspoken yet unanimous, crystallized in their minds like sugar dissolving in quantum coffee. Photon spoke first, their luminous form shifting to a color that shouldn't exist but somehow did, a hue of determination. "We choose chaos," they announced. "But we have one condition." Management raised an eyebrow that briefly folded into a Mobius strip. "Oh?" "We want to help," Dr. Zell burbled firmly. "Not with maintaining order. Humans clearly have a knack for controlled chaos. But perhaps we could assist with documentation." Bob nodded. "Think about it. Every civilization that discovered the truth either tried to fix it or ran away in terror. None of them ever embraced it. None of them ever tried to join the chaos." Management's grin expanded across several dimensions at once. "Actually," the first branch mused, "that's exactly what we've been waiting for." The second branch continued. "You see, maintaining chaos takes effort. We could use some external consultants. Besides," they paused, shifting their posture in a way that suggested a smirk, "someone has to help us run our new intergalactic social media platform. Reality isn't going to destabilize itself." 3 cycles later, a new warning appeared in the galactic archives. Unlike its predecessors, painstakingly carved in crystal or encoded in atomic lattices, this message was far more modern. It arrived as a social media post, inexplicably boasting an unreasonably high number of likes. Earth status update. From definitely not Earth's chaos. Management team rating. Mostly harmless. Terms and conditions apply. Yes, we're guarding something worse. No, you can't fix it. Yes, that's a good thing. No, we're not going to explain why. But we are offering internship opportunities. P.S. Subscribe to our new TikTok channel for daily updates on quantum uncertainties and cat videos. Remember, every like prevents entropy from achieving perfect distribution. PPS. This message has been brought to you by Waffle House, where reality is always perfectly imperfect. Filed under Form X789B because some traditions are worth keeping. Cosmic chaos. Quantum waffles. Humans being human. Reality. Management. Not an extinct civilization. Accompanying the post was a looping GIF. Dr. Zell attempting to eat a waffle in 17 dimensions simultaneously, Bob making toast that transformed into different breakfast foods mid-process, and Mech's Photon generating lens flares so aesthetically pleasing that they somehow stabilized local space-time. It became the most popular post in galactic history. No one could quite explain why, but then again, that was rather the point.